So, hello everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Saadiq, and it is Tuesday, our podcast, where it's just him and I, and we discuss, and sometimes we really discuss some issues. I don't know. Today is probably not going to be any different. I wanted to say off the top. I know as I read the comments, I'm sorry if I look like I'm a little bit slow, but hopefully it'll catch up. I know sometimes as I'm reading the comments as it's live, some people are kind of, it seems like it's a stressful thing, but just know that Donovan and I are good friends. There's never any hard feelings afterwards. We both have very strong opinions, about what we believe to be true or not. So just know that is all love. We live to fight another day. So anyway, Donovan is still in the DR. He will be traveling back sometime this week. He'll be back home. Also, the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are a great people, but we can always strive to do better. Also, like to say, we are talking about today Tia Mowry. Okay, and her situation is a tweet that she made. Of course, you guys know that she's a twin of Tamara, and I'll get into all that. Then we're going to be discussing Valentine's Day, as today is Valentine's Day. It is supposed to be a day of love and all of that. And so we'll get into all that. But Donovan, what say you before we get started?
I want to say welcome to the Demetra K podcast. Great to have you guys here. Yes, I'm still in the DR. I cannot wait to get out of here. I leave here Friday. I've done everything I wanted to do here. It's nice. It's great. Super Bowl was amazing. That was a very, very great game. And I'm going to tell you guys, if you are down here during Super Bowl, and Demetra saw it, nothing but white family, European families down here having a great time. Don't believe the hype that that you would say about this place or where I'm at. But anyway, do us a favor, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And also, if you look at the scrolling thing at the very bottom, and you could go ahead and if you would like to do a donation, that would be great. Cash under the table is always acceptable if you want to write that. But yeah, and again, I get comments and emails from people asking like, "Oh man, are you guys mad at each other?" Whatever. No. I never get mad. Demetra has always been Demetra. I have always been me. 30 years. That's just how it is. We're coming from too far from our perspectives of the perspective. I respect her opinion. Sometimes she respects mine, and maybe she don't.
Absolutely. So we're also going to play tonight's conversation at the end of this podcast as well. So anyway, again, I know it looks like I'm lagging. Hopefully it'll catch up, but I think y'all can hear me just fine. So am I lagging on your end? Nope. No, okay, so maybe it's just me. Anyway, so I'm going to put this up here. That is the beautiful Tia Mowry. She is a celebrity and has been in the industry, I should say the industry of acting, for a very long time with her twin sister Tamara. Now, Miss Tia here was married to Corey Hardrick. I think that's how you say it. Sounds like they were married for like 14 years or so. They actually met on a set. She was on a movie set. Don't ask me what it was. I guess he was a security guard, actually. And she helped further his career in acting and all of that. He also admitted that being the case as well. Then last year, sometime, she made an announcement that, I guess they were getting divorced. But a lot of people, and I'm sorry if I'm freezing up, y'all. A lot of people were led to believe that he was cheating on her. Then he went on his social media, said, no, that's a lie. It was not cheating on her. It sounded like he was befuddled as to why, she broke up with him. It sounds like it was kind of news to him. Then, because if you ever follow Tia on social media, she seems like to be a very happy-go-lucky individual. She dances a lot. She, does fashion and things like that. So then after she announced that she was getting a divorce and Corey kind of cleared that up, he even went on to say, I still love my wife. And I guess he wanted his family back. Then she went on this, spree of talking about how she loved herself and she's valuing herself and she's learning to, this, that, and the other, self-love, blah, 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 blah. And then she puts this tweet out the other day that says, I know love will find me again. Then, of course, a lot of people were like, wait a minute. What do you mean love is going to find you again? Because from what a lot of people are saying, and I'm going to agree, it does seem kind of odd, that it sounds like you had love and you went on this self mission of, oh, I'm finding myself and learning to be by myself. And not, mind you, they have 2 children. So it wasn't like it was just her by herself and him. They have 2 children, young children on top of that. So a lot of people like, okay, what in the world was going on here? You had love. Sounds like good love, because it sounds like you had a man that really loved you. I was not cheating or anything like that. And here you are talking about, I know love will find me again. So, Donovan, what say you with what I just said?
There's a lot of stuff to unpack here. Okay, here we go. Get ready. Go ahead and have a sip. You're going to need it. Okay. All right. Her tweet says, I know love will find me again. My question is this, and I'm trying to critically think and give her the benefit of the doubt, because we don't know the whole situation. So again, we are speculating. We don't know what's going on inside it. So I'm going to say that to quantify that. My first question is, who left or filed for divorce? Was it Corey or was it her? I believe it was her. So now I wrote this down as you were doing your thing. So leaving her marriage and the father of her children, she is looking for love away from a man who loved her enough to marry her. Corey was her love. They have 2 children, guys, you said. And isn't it, to find love, you would have to lose it? As in, let's say Corey got rid of her and divorced her. So how could you find love when you were the person that walked away from it?
Yeah, you raise a good question. Let me actually take this down. I think we've seen enough of Miss Tia. I totally agree, because, also, within that whole little, I guess, discovering of self, y'all, my bun is purposely on side. It's not like it's falling. I purposely did that. It was kind of like Pam Grier, not Pam Grier, Foxy Brown, but
Coffee.
Yeah. Anyway, from Uptown Saturday Night, she had that. Is that her name? Was her name Pam Grier as well? Yeah, she had that's kind of channel today. But anyway, so she on this self-love tirade type of thing. She kind of made it seem like it was something he was doing or something he did. She wasn't happy. That's kind of what she was going. I'm not happy. And so, like you said, to find love is almost like you lost it due to the fault of the other person. Well, it seems like they kind of both admitted that it wasn't something he did overtly, like cheat or anything like that. And so it's like, I would imagine being in a relationship that long, 14 years or so, or however long it was, you hit some rough spots where it's dull or whatever. But it's like at that point, because to me, when I hear a woman with 2 children and a husband talking about, I'm leaving my husband and I'm basically ripping my family apart, I hear you're selfish. I hear it's all about me. I matter the most. Doesn't matter that my children will probably be confused. Like, okay, wait a minute. We have a dad in the home. Now daddy's not here anymore because mama wasn't happy. You know what I mean? So it's like you put the way you feel above everybody else in the house. And I'm sure that takes some sort of therapy for the children to come to terms with the daddy not being a part of their everyday life. And then, you on social media, every chance you get talking about how you're finding yourself and you're in these bubble baths and you're doing all this, that, and the other. And it's like, girl, you know how many women would love to have a man that like you had that, wasn't doing anything to you, but yet you found it in your cold-hearted heart to be selfish, and you threw a whole good man away. You threw a man away with a job, a man who loved his children, a man who was home. Like you threw this man away. Now you want love to find you again. I'm gonna tell y'all like this, okay? And I'm sorry that I'm freezing up. I don't know why. But listen, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Any man out there that reads that tweet, please steer clear of her, until she get her understanding rearranged. And my thing is, if you want love to find you again, and take your ass back to your husband and get your family back together. But you out in these streets talking about I want love to find. See, that's that nonsense too. I'm freezing up because somebody don't want me to get this message. But that's the thing too. That's the dog whistle. And that's not even a dog whistle at this point. It's very overt to other women. That's kind of what the feminist movement did, is a signal to other women. Yeah, you know what? We need to just put our happiness above the whole family. And I get it. Sometimes, you don't feel like yourself. That's where that little me time comes in. Okay, I'm going to go maybe, off for a weekend or whatever you need to do to rejuvenate. But you're sending a message out there to other women who may not have any issues in their relationship or their family to, you know what? Tia's right. I need to be happy. I'm going to throw a man away. And I just explained to the children. Now she's doing her videos. Because before they used to do family videos and stuff. Now she got the kids with it. It's like, I don't care what you say, Tia. That looks like it's doo-doo. Because the man is missing. So now you're portraying yourself to be the single woman with these two children. And they're in your videos with you. But before that, you put their daddy out the house. They had their daddy in the videos with them. And so now you're trying to it's, to me, it's disingenuous. It's smoke and mirrors. And like I said, I don't think she should deserve to have love find her again. There's a lot of women out there like myself who want to, that through no fault of my own, that I'm single. I would love to find me again. I ain't squander on no relationship. So why should she get a chance for another man to come along? In the back of his mind, he should be thinking, well, damn, what happens when she becomes unhappy again? I'm toast.
You know what? You bring up a good point in regards to love finding you again, because you did not leave love. Love left you. So that would be a correct connotation of what Tia was saying, because what she was saying doesn't make any sense. If you're the person that initiates the divorce and leaves, you didn't lose love. You walked away from it. You didn't lose anything. You walked away. And I just want to put this out there. 76.4% of divorces in the USA are initiated by women, Black, white, Asian, whatever, just women in general, not just Black women, women in general. Men do not walk away from marriages once they're getting there. In her situation, and this is what a lot of women don't understand. I don't know what people are thinking. I don't know if they're watching too many Disney movies where the happy ending and the Prince Charming is going to come and you're going to ride off in the sunset. But what Disney doesn't show you is when Prince Charming and the princess get together, the movie ended when they got together and they're getting married and they're going off in the sunset. Disney never shows you the relationship. And as we know, anybody with common sense knows, there's going to be rough patches in a relationship. Demetra and I have rough patches in our friendship relationship and stuff like that, right? But we're still friends. Doesn't matter. We're still friends, right? So the thing is with this is, and I hear this from a lot of, especially the younger women, especially when I'm watching YouTube and stuff. And by the way, did you hear Patti LaBelle was on the Jennifer Hudson show at 78 years old talking about, oh yeah, girl, I'm looking for love again too. She was married for like 30 something years, right? She's 78. She's got the resources, got the money. She's, and again, according to her, they mutually split. I think she was married to this guy named Armstead. That was her husband's last name. His last name was Armstead.
Yeah, they weren't together 30 years because her husband, at the time they got together, he was like 40 something and she was in her 70s.
Right. Okay, I think it's the other guy, the next guy after maybe, or something like. She was saying something. She was in a relationship, whatever it was, because I know he was an executive and helped executive produce her albums in the 90s. But she's looking for love again and whatever. That's fine, and you go and do that. But my point with that is this: you got these women that use these old tropes of, well, men today aren't the same as women, back in the day, whatever. I agree with you. Men are not the same, and neither are women, because times have changed. Let's talk about at least me, Demetra's mother was born in the 90s or some shit like that. So, Demetra being a young thing. You got, people got to understand, you had all these things and factors and stuff that were happening that have changed dynamics in society. So when my parent was saying, my mom was a housewife, whatever, but she didn't lose her husband. Was she happy in some instances? Yes. Do you ever get married and say, you know what, I'm gonna marry this man, and knowing I'm gonna go into it, I'm just gonna be so unhappy? Or do you go into it realistically and saying, you know what, this mug gets on my nerves, but he's the father of my children, and we're gonna have our ups and we're gonna have our downs? Of course, people are not going to be the same. So those fairy tales that our mother taught us or our fathers taught us when we were young, fast forward 20, 30 years and you're a grown person and you're married, things have now started to change, and it's being social, economical. What is the number one reason a lot of people get, especially young people, get divorced? Finances. It's finances. So, I really do feel bad for her children, because this woman blew up her family because she only thought about herself. And it's sad that the kids there's no doubt about it, they're going to suffer in some form or fashion by not having that father in the home. And the fact is, ladies, it has been statistically proven, if there is a single parent that has to raise the children, it's been statistically proven men are better at with their children as a single parent than the mother is. That's just been statistically proven.
So say that again. You said men are better at being a single parent than mothers?
Yeah, if it came down to the children going to one or the other, it's been statistically proven that the children are better off with the father than they are the mother. Not women like you, we're talking about in general. That's been statistically proven.
I guess I'd have to see the...
Yeah, so basically what they're saying is, like, if me and you were married and we raised a child, right? And the child's stable. And let's say we separate and the child stays with me, the child is still fairly much pretty stable as it moves on.
I don't buy that, but I take your word.
Go look it up.
Yeah, statistically speaking, I mean, because there's variables to that, because I'm not saying the mama's always the better parent, but it doesn't, I don't buy that if it was a choice, data-wise, that the man would be better, just like the woman is not always better. I mean, so that there's a lot going through my mind when I hear that. I think there's something's off with that research there. It just is, because I am one of those people who believe that after a certain age, and say if you're not you and the parent are together, and say I had a son, I think that he would be better off with his dad after a while, because there's certain things I'm not going to be able to teach my male son, which is why a lot of times I don't understand why some women hold on to their male sons opposed to sending them to their dad, who at that point should take over the realms. I get, to some degree, it's a child support thing or whatever the case is, but if it was me, I'd be like, well, how much do I love my child? I want him to walk fully into manhood. And I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Me and Donovan had this argument right before we came on here. I said it, I'm going to say it again. I believe that most men hate their mamas, even though maybe some hate, but a lot of them resent their mamas, and it reads into the relationship that they get into with women. And I'm going to say this. Now, this is where I kind of going to bring it back to the woman, because a lot of times the woman, the mama, holds on to that male son too long. Instead of saying, all right, get your rusty behind out of my house, you're going to live with your daddy now. Because now it's time for your daddy to take over so he can walk you into manhood. So as a mama, I can nurture you and give you the love and all that, but I can't walk you into manhood. So what I'm saying is, I believe a lot of times mothers hold on to the son for whatever reason, whether it's a child support check, or it's bitter, or I don't want you to be over with your daddy, or whatever the reason is. She hold on to y'all too long. She cannot teach you how to be a man. So instead, I'm probably gonna get in trouble. A lot of y'all end up becoming feminized by living with your mama too long without the input of a steady male figure. Now, what I mean by steady male figure, I ain't talking about you going to visit your daddy every other weekend. I'm talking about you seeing your dad, or having a good male influence in your life, several times a week. Whether you going to your granddaddy's if your daddy ain't around, or whoever you got, So I'm saying that a lot of y'all resent your mamas, and a lot of y'all are feminized because your mamas then held on, tied you to the apron strings for too long. Then when you get 18, and then she might want to put you out the house, and she ain't put you out the house being a man. She put you out the house being raised by a woman, And then y'all get out there and then sometimes carry that resentment into these relationships. And I'm telling you, most men, if not all, and they can be mad at me if you want to, argue with your mama that made you that way, not me. Most of the men that I've dated, they've had an issue with their mama, and it reads off into the relationships that they get in with women. They try to hold those women accountable for the things that their mama did to them. It's like, wait a minute, I ain't your mama. I didn't, tie you up to my apron strings. Your mama did. So I'm saying to y'all as men, get into therapy. Like Kevin said, I used to tell women, and I agree with him, get in therapy. Some of y'all need to get into therapy and unpack that resentment that you have for your mama so that y'all can have conducive relationships. Just saying, hey, wait, let me finish. Because I'm on one today. A lot of y'all get into relationships with women. Guess what? Just like your mama. You get in a relationship just like your mama. And then when you get a good woman like me, y'all don't know what to do with that. I'm just keeping it real. Today, I'm feeling myself. Y'all get with a good woman like me and you don't know what to do, but yet y'all comfortable with a woman who talking to you crazy, who, don't trust you, who won't do nothing for you, that treats you like dog doodle. Y'all like women like that. You know why you like women like that? Because your mama treated you that way.
You ain't saying nothing but a word. But before I have my rebuttal, Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Or, dear Mama, even though you were a crack fiend, Mama, you know what I mean? We love her. I'll always love my mama. She's my favorite girl. That was The Intruders for the guys that ain't old enough.
Don't forget, Sadie.
Sadie. Don't you know? You know what I mean? We can all these songs by these men who love their mamas. It was just a great thing.
Hold on, I got one for you. This was by men too. Papa was a rolling stone.
Wherever he laid his hat
was his home.
Amen. So I know we're joking about that, but I'm gonna agree with you. Unfortunately, you have guys, and here's the problem, ladies, and I know ladies, you guys are gonna get mad at me. There is a significant difference in the way younger, newer moms, not our parents' age, not really our age, because we kind of emulate what our parents taught us, so we don't know any better. We're talking about our children's children. My mom loved me. There's no doubt about that. I'm the baby. My mom loved me. But you will never see me hug my mama because that's show. In our family, that is show. My mom loved me because she kept a roof over my head, food in my stomach, clothes on my back, and the best education she could give me. She never gave me what I wanted. She gave me what I needed, and I produced. I believe a lot of problems with children now and young men now, especially the young men, is women love the boys and they raise the girls. They love the boys. Oh, I'm gonna get you some Jordans, no problem. You gotta have a good Christmas, no problem. But tell the girl, go to get your education. You don't need no man for nothing. Da 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 da. And if you take that as a negative context or a positive, it doesn't matter. My point is, women teach the girls what they need to know and how to do it, whatever. Even if it's finessing the system. Oh, girl, get you a baby, get you Section 8. You can get this, you can get food stamps. It's okay if you have a baby. It's all right, whatever the deal is. But the boys, no matter what they do, oh, baby, look at LeBron James's mom. At every game, acting a fool, supported him all the way through till she got that big payday. And I think that is one of the biggest problems in how we see relationships and how younger people are now seeing relationships, in the aspect of, I believe that's where a lot of the trauma comes from, because here's this woman that gave everything to me. Then I turn a certain magical age, like me and you always argue about, then she's kicking me out because now I don't want to go get a job. I don't want to go do this. I don't want to go do that. And then the girl that is about my age, oh, these men ain't about shit. They ain't nothing. Well, who are raising these boys to be that? Why aren't these women raising these boys to be the men that are desirable by women?
Absolutely. So I know it looks like we may be freezing up a little bit. Maybe everybody's on here, it's Valentine's and they're, doing something with a man or woman in another state or whatever. Anyway,
notice we're not.
Right. We're gonna get into that in just a minute too. But anyway, you said something a lot of times, not even just in our community, but a lot of other communities, they love the boys, raise the girls. Now that doesn't, when we say love the boys and raise the girls, we're not saying that means it's always good, because you can love somebody, and I always use this analogy because it was used to me when I was raising my daughter. When you love, sometimes I'm in love with my boys, so I raise them from that standpoint, opposed to love my boys, because when you love something, you sometimes do something things that may hurt you, not physically, but that's painful, but it's meant to make somebody grow. But when you're in love with something, oh my king, oh my boo-boo sugar, the man in the house, and he's 3, whatever the case is, and so you don't really teach him the necessary things, right? And unfortunately, a lot of times those boys, they get out into the world and they get into relationships, and again, they correlate things to the relationship with their mama. Well, my mama didn't make me do nothing. My mama didn't make me take out the trash. I was my mama king. And so then they get with them now. And I'm not saying you're not a king. Y'all know how I feel about calling us people kings and queens. I love calling everybody kings and queens, because as I said, it serves as a reminder. Even if you ain't acting like that, hey, king. You know what I mean? But so then they get with these other women, and then they have these expectations on other women. And it's like, but let's see, I get it. Your mama gonna treat you like a king and all that other stuff. However, she didn't tell you, like Donovan said, and a lot of times in those fairy tales, we are taught that the king or Prince Charming, he comes up on his horse and he's cute and he's the things, he smiles, whatever, and then the woman is, but so he was raised that way, but he wasn't taught that you do know the king got duties. The king got to make sure the kingdom is straight and everybody else in the kingdom. He ain't just sitting up there, I'm the king, I ain't got to do nothing, I'm getting fed grapes all day. Nah, he got to make sure everybody on down to the gesture is doing their job, right? So there's things but so then the other side of that too is, as women, as we are, I don't know, snow black, we're going to call it snow black. As we snow black, we looking for Prince Charming to ride up on the doggone horse. And we're also taught, he gotta be as cute. Then we get resentful, because it's like, all right, you ain't cute no more, because you just cute in the house. You cute and can't keep a job. You cute and you ain't got no driver's license. You cute and you won't go to the dentist. You cute and what I'm saying? You cute and you won't do nothing. You just cute. You know what I mean? So we have to start raising our children with these other expectations, right? Like we really got to do a better job at raising both. But I stand 10 toes down on that. Women, y'all need to let go of these sons a lot sooner. Y'all got to kick them out your house and into their daddy house. Kick them into their daddy house. Say, all right, go co-parent. I did it up until this point. Now it's your turn. And I think, honestly, if you asking me, now I don't biologically have boys, but I did raise boys. But if you ask me, I think that the boys, if you're not together with their daddy, I think they should go when they're like 9 or 10. Because that way he'll have a good, 8 to 9 years or so to spend with him, shaping him, and, really setting some expectations for him as a man, and all of that. I don't think 8 or I think 9 or 10 is a really good age for y'all to send them with their daddy. Let them go off the titties, cut the apron strings, and let them go and do and learn what men do.
And if you made a good choice in their fathers, they're not going to go off and learn, screwing up and running in the streets and whatever. Because again, statistically, as they've been saying, about 25 to 30% of men are making babies with 80% of the women within the community. So 52% of all Black men are childless. So again, that's a really big thing. But again, it's not always all on the women. Unfortunately, though, feminism has taught women that they can easily walk away from the marriage. In this 1970s, the no-fault divorces and situation like that. Now, this is just my opinion, and then maybe it's just me, but I believe you should have a good reason to walk away from a marriage. You got to have a very good, valid reason. Abuse, whatever it is. It's got to be something that we all agree on as a good reason. Just because you're unhappy. Demetra, how many times have you gone on a job and you just said, I got to go to the job every day happy? It just doesn't happen every day. Some days are good days, some days are bad days. And that's just how relationships are. There are some good days, and there are some bad days. And in my experience in marriages, from all of my friends that have been married 30, 40 plus, they have way more good days together as a family than they do the bad days. And that's one thing we really got to get back to and stop thinking of ourselves. If you bring children into this world, men, it ain't about you, she's taking my money. This, that. Stop worrying about all that. You got a child here. Now the responsibility is the child and what's best for the child. And in a lot of cases, when you have the input of both families and the kids see that mother and father are together and doing that, they're more than likely going to do the same thing when they become of age.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, you clarified about feminism. You said taught women to walk away, and I would agree with that. And then you did clarify, say, but what are you walking away from? Because that was a question I had. Like, what are you walking away from? Like you said, if you're walking away from abuse and stuff like that, then yeah, you probably shouldn't stick around. You know what I mean? But then the other thing too is, you brought up happiness. It's like, yeah, I think when you're in a marriage, I think happiness needs to be defined. You know what I mean? Because when you married, when the root of marriage is together, right? You putting things together. So when you're in a marriage, it's not just about you. And I'm not saying that everything you do has to include the other person, because I think you should have some individualism in a marriage to some degree. But I think a lot of times we get happiness as, oh, I'm not getting my way. He's not doing or she's not doing what I want. I don't want to do this, so I'm not happy. So I think that should be defined. Now, of course, if somebody, whooping your tail or whatever, that, yeah, you're probably not going to be happy. So that kind of stuff. But if it's just you having a moment and I'm not happy. And see, that's the other thing why I said I hate the internet too, because the internet, and y'all can forgive me. I'm, maybe it's because I'm getting older. How they say older people, they don't care what they say. I do care, but, I think the internet has made a lot of people idiots, mindless, nitwit idiots. I really do, because what the internet has done is rob people of the ability to think for self, right? You see all these people doing all this stuff on the internet. Like my daughter was telling me a story about this mama. Somebody was talking about giving the baby some dill oil in the water, and then the baby ended up getting sick. And I said, let me guess. She saw that on TikTok. She said, yeah, probably. You know what I mean? So it's like you got these people who are just idiots, and they're picking up everything from the internet, which is why I always say I hate the manosphere and I hate the divestosphere, whatever it's called. I hate it because it's like you got these idiots teaching other people to be idiots. That, it robs a lot of the ideas that are on the internet. It robs people of critical thinking. You know what I mean? It's like, you ever sit back and say, well, okay, I hear what you're saying, but let me put that in my own computer. Let me see if it lines up. Let me see if mathematically thinking that makes sense. A lot of people won't do that, and then they'll die on that hill of ignorance. And it's like, are you kidding me? That doesn't even sound logical. But so what I'm saying is, there's a lot of people who are impressionable. And then you have somebody like Tia who's like, I'm just not happy no more. I'm going to blow up my own family just so I can be happy. And then I'm going to get on the internet and talk about, look, I want another man to find me. It's like, you high. Sis, what did you smoke this morning? Because whatever it is you did, cut it in half, maybe fourths. You know what I mean? Because obviously it's too much for you. But then, as I said, there's some women who be like, Tia's right. She's right. My husband, I'm just not happy with him either. So I think I need to, you know what I mean? And then you sitting in your house by yourself, which I'm sure Tia does sometimes, where, her children were happy. Their daddy was there. She was happy for whatever reason, and she got, something going on in her mind. I'm sure she sits at home like, because if she did, its case in point is, if she wasn't sitting at home, thinking about being in love, then why would she put that tweet? It's like you had a man that was doing all of that, not even 6 months ago, and now you sitting up there talking about you want to ruin another man's life. Why do you think you're special? You know what I mean? But the other thing about that is too, some dummy will bite. Some dummy will take her up on it, and then 10 years later, he gonna be like, I didn't do nothing to her. She just was not happy. The hell?
And I just want to say this real quick, and it's just my opinion. These girls grew up on TV. They're not the prototypical girls that that I'm used to, or they're kind of, it isn't, I mean, she's a beautiful girl. She's beautiful, but she wouldn't be on my top 10 list. Okay. And this is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying she's not ugly. I'm saying my list. I wouldn't be attracted to her like in that way. And here's the problem. I don't know if you guys remember, Demetra, I don't know if you remember when I told you, I think I put it up on a Facebook tweet or something on Facebook. I'm in the Dominican Republic right now, ground zero. Every girl around here thinks they are a 10, and they think that I'm Cardi B or whatever. They all think they're 10s here, and the thing is, and that's fine to have your what you think of yourself or whatever. Like I said, I always say I'm a 5, right? It could go either way. So in Tia's thing, it seems to me when you have 2 children, Tia's in her 40s. So she's past the wall, sort of, whatever you want to say the wall is, but she's still, a decent looking chick. But what I'm saying is her pool of available men to find love is very small. Number one, she's very entrepreneurial. She's up there in economic status. Most women do not downgrade a man financially. They look for a man at their level or better. So to me, when she left her marriage, even though she found this guy, in the start of his career or whatever, at the end of the day, she married him, had kids with him. To actually think at 40 something years old, I'm going to go out there, and I watched her hit the talk show circuits. Oh yeah, girl, it's going to be okay. We're good friends. I graduated. Then you put this tweet out. It's like maybe she found out that her prospects aren't as what she thought they were. And there was another star that actually did something similar to that. And they like Claudia Jordan, Vivica Fox, these women that are just mad and bitter because they didn't do this or whatever. And you guys know what I'm talking about when I say that. It's not easy out here, you guys. If you got a good thing, hold on to it. I cannot fathom being a woman with minor children walking away from my marriage thinking that there's going to be something better out there without being guaranteed it's out there. I wouldn't do that, me personally. So, if you guys understand where I'm going with that, it's just kind of, she's an attractive girl, but she wouldn't be my cup of tea.
Well, I mean, I would ask you to describe what a 10 is, but it's different for everybody, because we have this number scale where we try to rate people's looks, whatever. The wall is from the idiotic internet. Okay, I just want to put that out there. That's another thing that came from the internet that is idiotic.
Kevin Samuels brought it up.
And y'all been running away with it ever since. You know what I mean? So the wall is from the idiot internet, okay? And you're absolutely right. Dating today, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. Dating today is like when I was younger, and I don't even know if it has anything to do when I was younger. I didn't have a problem. I don't have a problem getting a man now. I want to keep that real with you. Okay. I don't have a problem getting a man now. But I think because I am 51, I'm a little bit more cautious to get out there in them dating streets, which is why I said I'm not doing it anymore per se. I want to court, but it's just people out there just playing games. Like I said, you got dudes my age out there playing, and not women too, out there, they doing what the young people doing. I'm just out there sleeping around. I'm not trying to be with nobody seriously. I'm just hopping from bed to bed to bed. It's like, you ain't gonna be hopping in and out of my bed. Okay. So you know what I'm saying? So that's why I put it out there. Like I don't want to waste no man's time, because like I said, even in my age group, there's men out there still playing the field. It's like, all right, grandpa, you still out there, running around like you 20 at some point in time. But then that's I hate to say it, but that's what's available in my age group. Is a lot of, cat daddies out there, and then they trying to get with the young girls and mess her life up with their instability and their mental unstableness out there still trying to, pop blue pills, get it up for 20 hours because they can't get it back down till after that. Want some other young girls like, because they've been taught to, I don't want no woman my age, because a woman your age can see with her good eye what you up to. These young women, they think they got a prize until they find out, she gonna end up being your nurse in the long run, because most of y'all out there don't take care of yourself worth a damn. So you get these young women, see, now I'm on one. You get these young women who end up being your nurse and all that other stuff, but, that dating today is horrible. It is. And I hear that from men and women. It's horrible. It's scary because you got people out there who's got agendas, or they telling y'all, I'm out here to stay. I'm trying to kick it, but they're just trying to kick it for right now until you do something that they don't like, and then they go on being the victim, and then they go hop in somebody else's bed. So yeah, it's scary out there. And there's another thing I say too, as far as the dating pool, like I'm 51, so I don't have the problem or the worries of having a baby. That chapter's over for me, thank God. But you can still get something to have you scratching profusely down there. You know what I mean? Or have something to, jack you up in a real bad way. So it's just a lot going on out there. It is.
Well, let me ask you a question real quick. Since less than 10% of men in the Black community make six figures, and Tia, I'm going to assume she's a millionaire, basically. Her family, you put them all together, they're millionaires. For her to re-enter the dating pool at her status, let's say she meets a guy that's a billionaire. How many Black billionaires out there that are free to, number one, to date, millionaires or whatever? Let's say like I'm not going to say Nick Cannon. I'm not going to say him. You know what I mean? A Black guy, if that's her preference, that's out there. When a man has that kind of money status, would you agree that he has options to date multiple women if that's what he chooses? And and here you are, a single mother that's re-entered the dating pool. I mean, how would anybody think that at that status that a guy is just going to show up that has the equal, if not more, status automatically? Wouldn't it be more competitive, at that juncture where she's at?
I mean, but who's to say she's looking for a man that got what she got? I mean, Cher is a perfect example. She got a man that's 100 years younger than her, and he ain't got no money. So I'm sure, I always say this. Like, if I was an older woman and I had money and I was single and I was in that lifestyle, I know I'm going to be a sugar mama. I don't need you to pay my bills. I don't need you to keep lights on in here. I need you to keep lights on somewhere else. You know what I mean? So I think as an older woman with money, I just think you kind of know that's the case. Yeah, she probably, and there's a lot of men that she could date or whatever. But I think a lot of women with money, they don't have a problem dating down per se, because I don't need you to do nothing for me financially speaking. Now, I do want you to be a man in every other way. But I don't. That part of it is why I don't need it. I'd rather have companionship. So, we see that a lot with older women who date younger men, especially older women with money. We see them like, I know this little 25-year-old ain't got no money, but I don't need him for that.
Yeah, we know what y'all sisters are doing down here in Jamaica, Rent Dread. We've seen it. We've seen it what y'all doing in Ghana. I see it right here in Sassoon what the women are doing. Come on.
But see, at least the one thing about a woman, an older woman, she knows she's sugar mama. It's y'all that's out there. Well, she just loves me for me. Like, dude, you got a hole in your donut. You ain't seen your little man in 10 years because you got a big old stomach and you're wearing tube socks all the way up under your breasts. She ain't there for you because of how you look.
Tube socks with sliders.
Right. You taking, Toms because you got indigestion when you eat a grape. So we know she ain't there. It's y'all that's, pretending like she's really into me. Let that wallet dry up. Let it dry up. So the difference is we know it, y'all don't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But like, what I would just tell a lot of people in Tia's situation, looking at it from the information that I have ascertained, Corey was her love. I'm not saying she might not get one, but that was her love.
I mean, I agree. I think she squandered off a good man. He's fine too. It's like, Okay, whatever. Anyway, let's move along. Like obviously, we're gonna go over a little bit today. I hope that's all right with y'all. So anyway, let's get into this whole Valentine's Day thing. Of course,
Well,
y'all
yeah,
know
it's
it's Valentine's.
Valentine's. We ain't got no Valentine, so we got nothing but time.
You know what I mean? We got Valentine. Okay, so listen, it's Valentine's Day today. And depending on where you're from, it's Valentine's Day, because you know some people say Valentine's Day. Anyway, it's Valentine's Day, February 14th, where nowadays people go out and they break the bank, you know, trying to buy they boo, they sweetheart, they everything and all that for right now anyway. Something nice. You're gonna go out to Ruth Chris Morton's, you know, Harold and Bell's if you're in Los Angeles and you're gonna spend a lot of money. Somebody's probably gonna put on some negligee, depending on what kind of relationship you in. It might be him. I don't know. Somebody's gonna do that. Somebody gonna put on some negligee, and you know you're gonna have the best 5 minutes of your life after after you know y'all go do all of that. So anyway, but I guess we should talk about the origins a little bit. It was started way back in the day. Some say the 15th century by Emperor Claude II, and it was actually in martyrdom to two men who were killed separate years apart. By the last name was Valentine, so they decided to make them saints, if you will. But even before that, from what I understand, it was like a day of fertility where the men, and this is Rome, you know, so ancient Rome, the men would go kill a goat and a dog, and they would take the skin from the goat and the dog, and then the women would line up to be beat by the hides of those animals. And the premise of that was because it was to make them fertile, right? I don't know how, but anyway, also that was considered like a lottery love in order to a matchmaking love rather, a matchmaking lotto. So they would put their names or whatever. The women would put their names in a jar, then the men would pick it out, and they would spend, actually it was from February 13th, February 15th, they would spend that time together doing what y'all know what they was doing or whatever, to see if there was some sort of a match there and all of that. Now, of course, during the Industrial Revolution, then it became a little bit more commercialized, and then said Hallmark came along in 1913, and Hallmark is one of the biggest card makers in the world. And you know, in came the cards. Oh, I love you so much. I don't know what I'd do without you. Type of cards and all that other stuff. Then, of course, people started buying gifts like flowers and candy, and you know, depending on how much money you got, you know, you bought a ring. I remember one time I was in cosmetology school, and this older white lady, she was eating her sandwich. We were all at the table. It was Valentine's Day. She's eating her sandwich, and just before she bit the ring, her husband had put a big giant ring in her her sandwich, and she was like, "Oh, that's so lovely, but I could have died. What about?" Which is right, she could have died, right? She would have bit into it or swallowed it. So I've seen things like that go on. Now, so now there's this thing called SAD. Okay, and SAD stands for, and I wrote it down, Single Awareness Day. That's what single people do on Valentine's Day, where we, because you know how I said we, may take ourselves to dinner. We might buy ourselves something nice. You know what I mean? And we do things with ourselves. We love ourselves, right? Because we don't have anybody else to do it. Now, if you're a little bit on the woke side, you're like, well, love is every day, isn't it? Love is every day. Supposed to love each other every day. But for some people, like, well, it's this special day to really go all out. Instead of, like I said, the 2 minutes of fun you normally get, you're gonna get 5. So I don't know. But yeah, that's Valentine's Day. So let me ask you this, Donovan. Do you believe in Valentine's Day? And when are you celebrating either one way, sad, single awareness, or with somebody? Like, what's going on?
Okay, being in paradise here, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm not celebrating. I never really believed in Valentine's Day, and I'm going to tell you why. For me, I live in the United States. There's holidays all the freaking time, and how can a person sustain if you don't make a significant amount of money? I really don't understand. My logic doesn't understand how people could sustain gift after gift. You got Mother's Day, and then unfortunately, American women have a standard of what they expect in certain gifts and all this other, how much they want you to spend. I mean, isn't that funny, fellas? They're going to tell you how much you're going to spend on a holiday.
Let me actually speak first because you're kind of going in and out. So I'll speak first, and hopefully your end will clear up by then. I can hear you, but it's kind of like in and out. So anyway, and maybe it's, I don't know, is it me or is it Donovan? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so single awareness for me, yeah, I guess a single awareness day, but I'm one of those people. I love myself every day. You know what I mean? I woke up today, feeling loved and by myself, and I'm one of those people. Donovan, are you there still? Oh, you looking crazy. You froze. Okay, okay, you back now. You kind of froze up crazy a little bit. It was like, anyway, I'm one of those people. Like I said, I edify myself every day. I tell myself how special I am. And before, within the last year, I really was telling myself that because I didn't really believe it as much. Just kind of some of the things that I went through in the last year or so. But now I wake up and I'm like, shoot, I know I'm the shit. Honestly, you know what I mean? Excuse my French, but that's just kind of how I feel. Like I wake up and I stretch and I'm like, yes, today is a good day. You're so happy to be alive. You're such a good person. And, I can't wait to go to the gym so I can continue to work on myself. You know what I mean? So I was like, I got all of that going on. You're on mute if you're trying to talk to me. Oh, okay. So I'm one of those people. I really love myself now. You know what I mean? And I do feel like I would love to be in a relationship and all that. Like I do. I miss love and I miss, because I'm one of those kind of touchy-feely people. I want to hug and all that kind of stuff. I said touchy-feely, and what I mean, like hug and stuff, for the most part. So, you know what I mean? I like that type of person. So I miss that part of a relationship, but I'm also to the point where I'm content enough with me for right now to where I'm good. You know what I mean? And I saw this quote yesterday and it really messed me up, but it was in a good messed up because it said this. Let me read it to you. It was just so profound. It said, I just read a quote that said, never be the reason someone asks God for peace. And wow, it says, God forgive me for the times I've been a toxic person in someone's life. And that really hit me because I remember being in a situation praying for peace. Like, God, if you could just please, I just want peace. I want my peace of mind restored. I want my heart to stop feeling like I'm going to die of a heart failure. I want the palpitations to stop. I want the nervousness to stop. I want the anxiety to go away. I want the unworthiness to leave me. Like, I would pray that. And so I remember before I got into my last relationship, I feel like I do now. You know what I mean? Donovan, you saw me before I got my last relationship. I was moving and grooving. I was exercising. I had a little hourglass and boo-boo. I got the hourglass coming back. I just want y'all to know that. I was good. I was content. And so I'm that way now. I would have no problem going places by myself. I got dressed up. I get dressed up again now. Because my daughter, she told me that. She was like, Mom, you don't get dressed up no more. Like I don't want to call myself a fashion icon, but my daughter would tell you, I like to get dressed. She's like, Mom, I miss you getting dressed up. I miss you, doing your hair, and if you didn't have nowhere to go, or you would go by yourself. Like I would go to events and everything by myself. She goes, I miss that. And I say, you know what? I'm gonna work back to that. I'm gonna get back to that, where I could go out by myself, get zhuzhed up, be cute. Men be like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing, boo? Keep it pushing. Or what I like. So I'm there now. I'm back there now. And so, like I said, I go to bed. I'm at peace. I don't wake up all through the night no more. When I wake up, I feel good. I'm rejuvenated. I cannot wait to go about the day. And it's not that I can't wait to go about the day to, I don't know, be involved with somebody else. I can't wait to go about the day because I'm involved with me. You know what I mean? So that's why something like Valentine's Day don't really bother me, because a lot of single people like, I don't know what it is. And it's so sad. But like me, I'm like, shit, bring on the day. It's a regular day to me because I love me.
Can you hear me now? You can? Okay. Well, with me, like I said, I don't really believe in the holidays. There's just too many holidays to sustain a regular person in the United States. The expectations of the value of a gift you would need to bring. I mean, golly, when you got women that are celebrating Christmas and have to bring almost $1,000 PlayStation just to appease their children, is a little bit ridiculous. Valentine's Day, I think it's a great holiday for couples and people getting to know each other, because it's a great way to start and enhance a relationship. But at the same time, I don't think it should break your pockets. So, I do believe in chivalry, though. I do believe a man, if you're in a relationship, should bring flowers.
Well, let me
And
ask
maybe
you this, Donovan, not to cut you off.
Good.
I love that you said chivalry, because unfortunately, chivalry gets mistaken for one day. Do you believe as a man it should be every day?
If you were raised correctly as a man with the tools of being a man, chivalry should be part of your DNA. Every day, when you're in the presence of a woman holding the door, even if she doesn't say thank you or nigga, please, I can get my own stuff. It should be in your DNA. It's something you should do second-handedly. And I'm going to refer to all of my friends that have been in successful marriages for 30 years plus. They still open the door for their wives. They still do those things that you're supposed to do as a man. And I think that is I'm not trying to say anything, but that's another thing feminism has taken away from our girls. They're making them say, you don't need a man to do anything for you. It's not the big things, ladies. It's the little things that sometimes make all the difference to make you feel special, It's not just a Valentine's Day thing. Like I said, Demetra, how would you feel? You've been working all day. If you're in the middle of June and you come home and your man has brought you some flowers just because he brought you some flowers.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I love flowers. I do. When I was back home in California, I don't do it as much now. I'm gonna get back into it because it's spring. I buy myself flowers all the time. I kept flowers in my room, or whatever. Because I love flowers. They're beautiful. It reminds me of beauty. It reminds me of happiness. I love the smell. Like it's just a good place to be when you have flowers. And I, for the life of me, don't know why men don't do that stuff anymore. I'm not saying you got to go spend $500 on a bouquet of roses unless you got it like that. But even if it's one or two here, baby, I was thinking about you. I picked up a flower like that. It could just
California, you can get flowers off of any off ramp.
You know what I'm saying? And that, to me, I think that's a perfect signal for, you know what? Let me go and get my baby some flowers. You know what I mean? So I love a man that could bring flowers just because, right? That to me, that is so debonair and it's old school. Like I'm into the old school type of stuff. Right here, baby, it's the flowers. You're so beautiful. Whatever the case is, and of course, I know because there's a man out there gonna say, well, what about the men? You don't want me to listen to, can y'all listen to me? Bruh, if you doing it right, you ain't got to worry about what your woman gonna do for you. Because if you bring a woman flowers and you trust me, you gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Whether she making you some gravy for the food, whatever, you gonna be all right. Trust me. Try it. Just try it. But this is the one thing. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know what the sad thing is? In today's world, in today's society, when a man brings a woman flowers, her skepticism goes immediately at, what did you do?
Nah, not me. When a man brings me flowers, I love it. My mind don't go anywhere negative. It's like, oh, thank you. Because men, I hate to say it. I'm not saying all men. I'm sure there's some men out there that do it. But that's just the lost art of being a gentleman. You know what I mean? Because on one hand, you want the woman to do all this. You don't ever want her to tell you no. You want her to, do some extra stuff. But yet you won't even bring the woman flowers. But I will say this. As a woman, I don't care how old you are, what race you are. If you hold the door open to me, you know what my gesture is thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. It's like it's a barrage of thank yous, because I know there's a lot of times that men do hold the door open for women and they just, they just walk on through the door and don't say thank you.
I can get it. I don't need you. I can get it.
No, I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Like, that's me, right? Anytime a man does something for me, they don't have to do whatever. I'm very appreciative. But I want to say this, okay? I'm trying to be careful. I have male friends. Donovan is one of my male friends, one of my dear male friends. And I tell everybody, y'all might see me and Donovan fighting, but I will F a mug up over Donovan. And he'll tell you, okay? So I have a lot of male friends. Donovan is one of them. And one thing I'll say about Donovan and my male friends, I may reach for my wallet, but they'll say, you know what? I got it. Now, there's sometimes, I'll pay or whatever. But I would say most of the time that I've gone out with Donovan, Donovan is like, I got it. My other male friends, I got it. I had a male friend told me, it's like, as long as me and you stay friends, don't you ever reach for your purse. And I'm like, but I just feel like I should because we friends, right? But so what I'm saying is this. If you are men, I feel bad I even have to say this to y'all. If y'all hanging out with a woman I'm not saying she got to be your woman, and I'm not saying you got to pay for it. I'm not even bringing it to the money part of it, but don't not be a gentleman is what I'm saying. Still, because I've been out with men who, because I'm not their woman, they won't do certain things like what a man would do, right? So I'm just saying, still take the opportunity to be a gentleman. I'm gonna say this to you. I'm not saying it's your job to make a woman feel good, especially the woman that's not yours. But there's a lot of women out there that have not been in the company of a gentleman in a very long time. And if you, as her friend, is hanging out with her, still be a gentleman to her. And I'm saying, yes, she should be a lady for you and all that other stuff. Because y'all know Donovan and I, along with my daughter, we travel. I don't, when we go travel and we get an Airbnb in the kitchen, I cook. I don't say, I ain't your woman. I ain't cooking for you. What's wrong with you? I don't, it's like it's my pleasure.
Remember that time I had in Costa Rica, I had to tell you what the problem is.
So my point is, we should be acting like men, ladies and gentlemen toward each other. And it's not nothing to do with no relationship or sex. It's just, it's a way of being proper, of showing that you care for that other person, right? Now, I know sometimes they have the saying, oh, you're a homie, lover, friend. I don't know what that homie, lover, friend is. The point is like sometimes men would treat a woman like a dude. It's like, I'm a fully grown woman. I'm a lady in every sense of the word. I don't want no man treat me like no dude. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Well, let's tell the whole story there. We were at dinner one time and Demetra was like ready to pay, right? What did I tell you, Demetra? Oh, hell no, you ain't gonna take my manhood. That ain't gonna happen. That is not gonna happen. I don't care what you do. You with me? You ain't taking my manhood. I got it. It's, I don't want nobody talking about me or anything like that, whatever it is. But then again, this goes back to what I was saying. It should be part of your DNA. Where did I learn that from? Not from a man. I learned that from my widowed mother, how to treat a woman. And ladies, let's not get into why the father isn't there, whoever the deal is. Just because the father is not present and you have sons, why are we not, and I said we not teaching our sons how to treat a lady, especially if you are the only parent in sight?
I totally agree. I totally agree. We should be teaching those things. The important, how to be proper, just men and women, not even just somebody you with. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of older dudes out there that get it wrong. And there's a lot of older women out there that get it wrong. And it's like, no, you know what I mean? I'm going to tell y'all a story. Somebody's having a conversation with a woman. And actually, I was having this conversation, with somebody else about where are the big mamas? Big mamas, being the grandmamas, the matriarch of the family. So I was having a conversation with this older woman, per se, and she's having a big event. And she wanted to have the hashtag for this event, something that was not ladylike. And I said to her, I said, well, I won't be using that hashtag because it's not ladylike. And I said, I don't think you should be using it too. I said, because you're a grandmother. And I said, what happens if your grandchildren happen upon the hashtag on the internet when they're older and they're like, oh, my grandma used that filthy hashtag? And so I said, when you become a certain age, and I said, I think as women, yeah, we could. But the question is, should you? Should you do those things? I said, because that you are a grandmother and you're an older woman, I said, you are supposed to be to the point where people and women are looking up to you as the pillar of your community, your household, your family. I said, now think about those little eyes and the women beneath you as far as age-wise looking at you. Use that hashtag. I said, now ask yourself, what separates you from them? I said, where is the wisdom in that woman or the knowledge to be able to talk to them from a matriarchal point of view of, hey, honey, nah, baby, I don't know if you want, like I was talking to her because I'm older than her. And so I said, I would feel remiss as an older woman that is older than you to amen what you are trying to do. I said, I can't be a part of that. And I said, before I leave you, I said, I want you to think about, where are the big mamas? I said, you are technically a big mama. I said, big mama, I don't ever remember my big mama out in the clubs. I don't remember my big mama, talking about how, loosey goosey. I said, she might have been all of that, but I didn't know that. So I said, you need to think about those things. And she said, you know what? You're right. I didn't think of you right. But what if I was like, girl, yeah, oh yeah, we should get, I like that. No,
and you know what the sad thing is? A lot of these new, younger, modern women co-sign on BS because think about it. You just brought up a good point. Look at all these girls that have OnlyFans accounts, or they're in the adult industry and they're busting it wide open, or they're sex work is sex work. It's all in the same category. You're a stripper and you're an ex-stripper, whatever. All that's going to come out sooner or later. And how is that going to affect you as a woman trying to tell your granddaughter, even though you have experience, or baby, don't do that? She's going to look at you and be like, nah, you did it. It was no problem for you. You know what I mean? It's like they don't think, because I was talking to some brothers here today, I'm down here, and they said it comes down to this. Unlike our generation, D, these children, these younger adults live for today. They're not concerned about tomorrow whatsoever. It's just a day by day survival. And the unfortunate thing is this with women, when the ladies do not think about survival, you have mass evictions. Nobody is more affected by what is going on economically than women in the United States, especially those women that signed on to feminism and some tenets of feminism. I don't need no man, whatever. It's just proven in the pudding. They're living day to day. So now what do we do now that you've been evicted? You've been evicted. Now that affects your credit rating. It's just a accumulating effect. And I wish that more young women especially would think about what they're doing before they do it.
Absolutely. And we need to get into the business of raising ladies. And I'll get into that little saying a little while longer, but we need to get into the business. And I'm speaking from a woman's point of view. And I'm sure Donovan could say the same thing about me. We need to get into the business of raising ladies again. Because my dad says this all the time. Black women used to be the standard. White women used to come to us to help raise their babies, to help, and y'all got to remember too, as far as back in the days of the Moors, we was teaching them how to, wash their behinds, and we might need to give them a refresher course because it sounds like they ain't washing their legs and all that, and they washing their babies and stuff every other week. They might need a refresher course, but point that I'm making is black women were the standard. Listen, I'm not saying we not to some degree, because women, I don't care who this woman is, where she is in the world, they strive to be like black women in every way, shape, and form, right? But we really used to be the standard, right? We used to dress nice. You've be a cold day in hell before you saw a black woman in the grocery store with a bonnet on. And I was at Walmart. I keep saying I'm gonna stop going there because it just does something to me.
Pajamas and all that other stuff.
This lady had on pajamas, sloshing around in the house shoes, bonnet on, just
talking loud like nobody could, else in the store. Just
like she was like, you thought that was the optimal thing to do? Come on. You know what I mean? Like the only time I go out, I'm honest with you. Donovan to tell you, before I came on here, he was like, what happened to you? Brother, I was working out. I ain't one of those women in the gym that's Nah, I be going hard in the paint because I'm trying to get to some goals. But the point that I'm making is, if I go to the store from the gym, yeah, I might look a little rough. But you can best believe I ain't doing that on purpose because the gym is right by the store. So not gonna come all the way home, get dressed and all that. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. It makes sense, right? Save gas. But if I'm going out somewhere, I'm already home. No, I'm not gonna be out there disheveled. So we need to raise ladies to be ladies, to have standards, to be appropriate in every way. And I tell this to Donovan all the time. He don't like it. When I say you don't know what your mama, what any other woman is doing, because a lady that is a lady ain't telling you everything she's doing. See, we in the age of the internet where we think, oh, I know my mama ain't doing. I'm not saying Donna's mom's a saint. I'm not talking about her necessarily, but I don't know what my mama, she ain't doing that, or I don't, because we get in a habit of thinking, well, if it ain't on the internet, I don't see my mama swinging from chandeliers on the internet. She ain't doing it. A lady ain't gonna kiss and tell. The lady ain't gonna tell you she entertaining Buster on the weekends, the Saturday night before she going to church. She ain't telling you that because it ain't your business. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, let's relate it to what's really going on today. In the trial that Megan Thee Stallion was in, what came out that she was embarrassed about? She was 304 and all up in the industry.
Yes, she was. But, the other thing is nobody knew that until the dudes talked. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't have an indictment on what Megan was doing with her body, but the dudes is the one that told the story. So that's kind of problematic too. But the point that I'm making is, we need to start raising ladies in gym. We really do. I mean, we can't keep asking the question of where have all the big mamas gone. We need to start telling these big, ma'am, you got a house full of grandbabies. You cannot be out in the club every night with your daughters and all of them. You need to, I'm not trying to put ageism on it like big mamas can't have fun, but I'm sorry. I'm one of those people.
She's at Coachella. Big mama's at Coachella.
You know what? And I have a problem with big mama going to Coachella, just have some clothes on. You know what I mean? Because I get tired of seeing old ass women, okay? Old ass women busting their legs open on the internet, bending over, half naked, acting like the children with their nasty tongues out. I'm like, come on, man.
Real quick. Did you see? I saw something on YouTube yesterday, as a matter of fact. Tiny's wife, or T.I.'s wife, Tiny, she was at a concert or doing something, and she was dressed in some kind of outfit, and it wasn't really age appropriate. And they were coming for her in the comments, and I think it's up on a couple of pages and stuff. But it goes back to what you were saying, kind of like we got to get back to.
I'm like this, okay? And I know we're going over, but I hope that's all right with you because we still got to play our thing here. But I'm like this. I got me a nice shape. I do. Especially now since I've been working out twice a day. Okay? I got me a nice shape. But I ain't got to show that to everybody. I'm content with me knowing I got a nice shape. I ain't got to every time I, look in the mirror, oh, I think this needs to go on the internet. Oh, let me put my backside. Like sometimes I just think as older women, we need to just rest because to me it's not soft. It's not soft. And to me, it lacks femininity when you are on the internet naked all day. That's not feminine. That's nasty. And I think a lot of times as women, especially nowadays, we get that confused with, oh, I'm feminine because I put all my business on the internet. I'm in some a matching bra and panty set and I'm on the show. That's not feminine. That's not, to me, that's very masculine, and it's been not masculine like a man, but it's just hard. It's not soft. Soft is, to me, I would imagine a man like, damn, she got on a burlap sack. I can't really see much, but she fine. You know what I mean? Softness is making a man use his imagination. As my grandmother said to my auntie years ago, if you use meat to catch a man, you're going to wind up with a dog. You know what I mean? And because you tiny, I don't know, I don't have a judgment on tiny. I'll leave that to y'all. but she may feel like she's the bomb and all of that. And I don't know what she had on, but it probably was something inappropriate. But it's like Tiny is our age. So, and I know Tiny got grandchildren. So what are you trying to prove at this point? You got a man at home. Why are you out in the street naked? If that's what she was doing.
Yeah, and I'll give you even a better example. I'm in the Dominican Republic, a lot of beautiful women here, right? A lot of BBLs, a lot of botched BBLs running around here. Okay. Beautiful women here, right? But all the fellas that I talk to, whatever, look at this girl who's a waitress, fully clothed. And everybody says that girl is fine as hell. And she's fully clothed.
I mean, as a woman, I don't want something every woman than being with or can see. Because I even see men on the internet now, and it's like, I don't need to see your print. And I'm like, on some of like Instagram, you see these people who are fitness, whatever, they in their underwear working out, and they got their bones showing. And I'm like, when did men start doing this stuff? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here?
Your Derek Jacksons. No, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's like I don't follow people that are doing that now. I'm like, I don't want to see your junk, because this ain't about you doing workouts anymore. This is about something else. And my other thing too is problematic because there's children on those sites. And so, but yeah, I've always been a firm believer, just because you can don't mean you should, and I am one of those people. I always say, I don't have any grandchildren yet, but I still have a daughter. And I don't want her to see her mama flying in and out of the door like a revolving door. Damn, mom, you just got home. Well, shoot, or a parade of line of men coming in and out of the bedroom. And no, she was
it's kind of like Officer and the Gentleman. Remember when Paula and them would get done with the factory and they're running straight to the base because the new recruits are there?
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so we just have to, I think too, before we get onto this game, we almost have to demand. We have to demand from each other excellence. We have to demand from each other a standard. We have to demand that. We got to stop being yes people to people's nonsense. We got to be okay with, well, you asked my opinion, I'm going to give it to you. No, I don't love the hashtag. We got to be okay with that person being mad at us or whatever. But I'm gonna speak my truth, and I don't think that's something a young lady or an older woman who is a matriarch and a grandmama, I don't think that's appropriate. You know what I mean? So we just have to demand each other standards of each other. And to Donovan, y'all in the manosphere always say, y'all don't hold each other accountable. That's how you hold each other accountable. No, ma'am. I don't know. I won't be a part of that.
Right. I'm not saying break up the sisterhood, but some of you sisters, I'm going to be honest, y'all see the foolishness and you refuse to say anything about it.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing for y'all. Y'all see that man out there, doing wrong and all that other stuff. And because y'all, I know, no man ain't going to check no other man. Y'all need to say you wrong, homeboy. You wrong. You wrong. That you got a good woman. But see, I know that there's a lot of men out there, their friend will come to them with nonsense. Oh man, I'm about to cheat. I'm cheating. This, that, the other, man, What happened to the other side of the conversation, man? Don't come miss me with that bullshit. I know you got a good woman at home. You got a good woman at home. She taking care of the house. You ain't coming to work hungry. You got to we like, damn, she making that for you. You gotta don't come to me talking about you cheating on a woman like that. Because you ain't coming up in here telling me that this woman ain't no good, ain't no food on the table, the house is a mess. She telling you no. You ain't coming telling me about no, this woman on her square. This woman has got something going on. And they're like, don't come here talking about you messing over a good woman like that. Because I know 100 men that would gladly take your place. See, when y'all start talking to y'all homeboys like that, then you help rearrange this understanding instead of co-signing his nonsense. That's just me. You ready? All right. And I'm going to say this too. Some of y'all men need to be like, okay, Junior Flip, you done got out there in that water and you couldn't swim very well. Take your ass back if she'll have you. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, we're gonna
Or
play
take these water wings and do the best you can. Okay.
All right, we're gonna play this game here. All right. And this is tonight's conversation dating edition, by the way. Is divorce ever an option for you? Why or why not?
I have been married twice, dos. And in each case, I did not initiate the divorce, had no inclination of initiating the divorce. In my situation, I was in the military, I'm flying around, I'm never home. So the fact of the matter is, my wives were basically living a single life, even though we were married. But I do believe in my heart, and I'm going to stand on it like a rock, that it was because of the career that I chose that really implemented what I was doing in my marriage, because they really didn't understand. When we were dating, there was no problem with me flying in and out and doing what I got to do. But the minute it became a legal contract between she and I, all of a sudden it's a problem.
Of course, divorce was an option for me. I was married. How long? 10 months. I was married for 10 months. And yes, absolutely, divorce was an option for me. Now, if it was up to me, I would have, I don't want to lie to kick it. I wouldn't have tried to save that marriage, because in that marriage, I was being cheated on a lot. He was a truck driver and he had probably, you know how they say the truck drivers got one in every state. This man probably had one in every township. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, divorce was an option. I was not going to stay with somebody who was a liar, a cheater, and just doing the most. So yeah, that's an option. However, now it wouldn't be an option for me if I was with somebody who was good to me, or we had little bumps in the road and we could fix those things. Yeah, it wouldn't be an option. I would, because divorce is very sad, right? For me, it wasn't sad. What's really funny, I'll give y'all a story. I like when I tell stories. On Valentine's Day 2014 is when I found out he was cheating on me, like, for the last time. You know what I mean? I found out he was cheating on me. His grandmother, and I hope he's watching too. You know what I mean? Because sometimes something tells me that he probably does be lurking. Like, anyway, Valentine's Day 2014, his grandmother had died like a week or so before that. So he had came to California, whatever. That's where I was. He's like, "Oh, I got to drive back to Illinois to go, get my grandmother's affairs in order and this, that, the other." Oh, okay, which I knew he was a lying ass anyway. But why? Fine, whatever. So we had a joint bank account, and I'm looking at the bank account, and he's making swipes, but he wasn't going toward Illinois. He's going toward Georgia. I'm like, that's a hell of a detour. So then when I would call him, he's like, "Oh yeah," because he told me he was picking his dad up along the way in Dallas. He was going to stop by Dallas and pick up his dad. And I'm like, "How you doing? You doing all right?" "Yeah, I'm doing all right." "Oh, my dad is asleep. He's sleeping. He just got through driving, so he's asleep." So the whole time he's trying to make me think his daddy in the car with him. Come to find out, his daddy was not never nowhere in the car with him. He then ran off to Georgia, didn't give a damn about his grandmama stuff. Ran off to Georgia to be with this she-bear. And he was hanging out with her. And so on Valentine's Day is when I found out that he really, was out hanging out with her. So, I took all my bumps and my bruises. I cried. And I was like, yeah, man, screw that. And I decided to really end it for good with him then. Of course, he was trying to get his sister back, but I was like, nah, you did way too much to me or whatever. So, yeah, divorce is an option for him. But I just thought I'd tell y'all that story on Valentine's Day. And, it don't bother me, but when Valentine's Day does run around, come around, I'm like, I remember when that happened, but it's with joy, because that in 2014, I was a mess. I was crying everywhere, every day. I was like, I can't believe it. Valentine's Day has never been the same, But now I laugh about it, because it's like, wow, you was crying over that thing. You look like that thing, my daughter always says too, which I agree with. Y'all know that thing from Men in Black, that little that creature. That's what he reminded me of now. That thing.
That is so wrong.
I
But,
hope
but he does kind of look like that a little bit.
And it's like, in hindsight, it's like, slap yourself. Like Pretty Tony says, stick yourself. What was you thinking? But you know what? It wasn't just me. Because there's a lot of other women who, they loved him. I don't know. Maybe they thought he was really a movie star. He was really that thing in Men in Black. I don't know. All right, next. What's your go-to way to deal with a stressful day?
Well, I don't have very many stressful days anymore, but flying airplanes, it's very, very important that, when you fly airplanes, you don't be stressful because you can end up killing yourself at any given time, right? So things I would do is read a book, play video games, exercise is always a way to relieve a lot of stress and stuff. But and then when I was married, which one of the great things about being married, I would go do some curricular activities, if you know what I mean. And, and just blow off the steam that way. For me, it's for me, I'm more like a Mr. Spock type person where if it's logical and it makes sense, that's for me.
For me to blow off a stressful day as well, I try to start my day off with working out. I'm gonna like to work out, or sometimes to alleviate stress, I'll do nothing. When I mean nothing at all. I won't read. I don't have my phone. I'm blank. I'm just zoned out. Right. That's for me. How to get rid of a stressful day, and then for me to get rid of a stressful day, I do a lot of self-talk. Like, okay, why are you stressed? Are you causing your stress? Do you have any control over what you're stressed about? So I have to do that. It doesn't take long. And then, I'll obviously answer like, nah, you tripping, or, it's your imagination, or whatever may be causing me stress, right? And if it's other people, then I'll just cut myself a loose for them, whether it's 5 minutes or it's forever, right? It just depends on what degree I need to be. But if another person is a source of my stress, then I try not to deal with them as much as I can. Because we do have control over who stresses us out, right? So that's how I deal with it. And thank God I don't drink, because I would be drunk. If I, because some people do, they deal with their stress that way. They just drink. But me, no, I like to have a conversation with myself. Maybe just sit and do nothing. Like, okay, let me take a break. Because a lot of times in this society and the way the world is now, we feel like we got to keep going. Oh, I got a day off, but I need to be doing something. Nope. I have had to, in my age now, not that I'm old, I've had to take 2 days of the week and say, I'm telling you, after Wednesday, Donovan, you saw how I looked today when I got on the messenger with you. That's how I look. I don't have no makeup on. My hair is down. Yeah. And unless I'm going somewhere, I'm at the house, I'm chilling. You know what I mean? I'm no stress. I'm not gonna do nothing. And I got a lot of stuff to do. Trust me. That's why I front load throughout the front part of the week. And then as the week go on, I'm like, I ain't doing nothing today. So anyway, that's what I do. Hey, what political party do you mostly identify with? And could you be with someone of the opposite view? Why or why not?
Well, as you guys see, I am known as the recovering Democrat. But I do not identify with the Democratic Party anymore because, like I said, they put me through a lot of emotional stress and stuff. That's why I'm recovering like a drug addict or an alcoholic. So I'm a recovering Democrat and I'm an independent. But I'm one of those people that I'm very, very, I know Demetra doesn't believe this, but I'm a very liberal person. What a person believes for themselves has no bearing on how I'm going to do it. Now, would I prefer that? Would it be easier that we have the same beliefs and accords? Of course it would. But looking at right now, if you really ask me since we only have 2 parties, major parties, I would identify with more would be a Republican. Family values, their platforms. Yeah, they're liars and they're cheaters and they're insurrectionists and all that other stuff. We get all that. But because of their conservative views, because unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to believe this. As you grow older, you become more conservative. You might not believe it, but you really do. Because you look at the music now. When our parents were coming up, they're like, "Oh, that rap and stuff, everything sucked," and and you just become more conservative in how things are, because things must and always will change. So I would probably match up with somebody who is more of a Republican, because now that I am awoke about what the Democratic Party has done to me and done to my people, when I most likely run into a Black woman who most likely will be a Democrat, especially like the Boulay or whatever the deal is, it's really hard to talk to somebody who's been indoctrinated that, oh, we got to vote blue no matter who. We got to do all that other stuff. It's very, very hard for me to get with somebody who is so indoctrinated and closed-minded that they will continually vote for something, even though they see nothing is being done and that, you know what I mean? You're showing them all the proof. I would have to get with a person that's either independent or a conservative by nature. These women that are really, down for the Democratic Party, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it.
So again, the question is, what political party do you mostly identify with? Could you be with someone of the opposite view? Why or why not? I am nonpartisan, so I don't identify with any party. And could I be with somebody of the opposite viewpoint? I would say, if I had to say, I would say no, only because normally if you are a Democrat or a Republican, you're pretty, like you said, Donovan, at our age, you're pretty set in that way. And for me to be nonpartisan means that I don't belong to either party, although I can subscribe to some things from each party, which also would indicate that you are open-minded, right? So a lot of times I find when I'm speaking to somebody who's a Republican or a Democrat, they're not very open-minded. And I'm one of those people, not just for politics, but everything else in life. I need you to have an open mind. Because if you don't have an open mind, then conversation shuts down. What am I saying? Evolution.
You don't grow as a person.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Evolution slows down, like you're just stuck, right? And I don't think because we get older, we should be stuck. I think we should still be evolving in the way we love, the way we think, the way we speak. And so for me, it would be hard to be with somebody who is either one, because I know how they think, for the most part. Nah, it's the Republicans and all the coast all the trouble. You know what I mean? It's like, because I've spoken to older people, men and women. Like one time, not too long ago, I went to JCPenney's to get a headshot done, and it was a sister. She's probably about my age, and when I tell you, my daughter will tell you too. Sometimes she's like, you just talk to everybody. How you end up in these deep conversations with people you just met? So anyway, I showed up to JCPenney's to get my headshot done, and this sister was a die-hard Democrat. This is during the time when the Supreme Court says, well, we don't have any jurisdiction over abortion. And she's like, it's wrong. They, what these states are doing, and blah, 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 blah. And and that's why people needed to vote for the Democrats. And so I'm like, golly, wow. I couldn't even get a word. Can you believe that? I couldn't get a word in edgewise, and I talk a lot sometimes. So I was like, well, listen, sister, I'm neither one. I was giving my viewpoint. I said, well, that abortion ban actually helps us as Black people, because I said, I get there's some cases where it should be allowed, blah, blah, blah. I think some of these people doing it. I was trying to bring reason into it, but nah, that's why they need to get Democrats in. And if they would have voted and we would have had some Democrats in the Supreme Court and these local, I was like, and then let me tell y'all something. After she took the headshots, if y'all see my headshots, probably know why I look stressed out. But so after I went to go pay for my headshot and everything, she was there. That her phone rang because she was the only one there. It was only us two in there. I said, all right, sister, I got to go. Thank you so much. When her phone rang, I was like, I am out of here. Woo! So I couldn't imagine, like, her man, if he wasn't a Democrat. You know what I mean? So I don't know. So that's why I say I probably couldn't.
Well, think about it like this. When you're older, you don't talk about, man, did you get that new Megan Thee Stallion album? You ain't talking that nonsense. You're talking serious stuff like your taxes and, did you hear on the news they're about to go to war and there's a balloon that was shot down? You're talking about, events.
If you're discussing world affairs. Now, see, can I be honest with y'all? That's sexy to me. Talking about world affairs, like I love that kind of stuff. I know that a lot of people really don't. I've heard that from a lot of men, especially like it's odd from a woman to hear a woman say some of the things you say and talk about some of the things you say. I'm like, why? Because I'm not talking about makeup and baking pies. I can do all that stuff too. I want to talk about world affairs. Stimulate my mind, baby. Anyway, I'm getting myself in trouble here. All right. Okay, so we know the answer to these without answer. Do you have children? If so, describe your relationship with their father, mother. You want me to go first?
Or the father and mother. Yeah, you couldn't go first.
Yes, I have.
Because I'm touchy about mine.
I have a child, one child. I get that a lot. You only got one child. I have one child. She's 30. She just turned 30 not too long ago. Y'all want to know something? We got some good compliments today in cycling. The instructor asked us, how old are y'all? She asked my daughter. She says, I'm 30. She goes, oh my God, I thought you were like 13 or 14. I said, how old are you? I said, I'm going to be 52. Oh, really? Oh my God. Whatever. So the relationship with her father, it's great now. It's great. Not too long ago, we all talked for like 3 hours. All just hanging out on the phone, talking about everything you think of, because he calls me Mitra. Yeah, he's only one that calls me that, Mitra.
Country boy.
Country, country in California at the same time. But yeah, so we talked about everything you can think of. We talked about, this, and Donovan has seen me and my daughter's father together. He knows sometimes we go back and forth. It's funny, but we'll go back and forth. He's got this totally different side of the story that didn't never, ever happen. I'm like, you lying. Why you lying? Because he actually picked Donovan, I, and my daughter up from our trip to South Africa. He picked us up, and it was a riot the whole way home. So that's how we are now. But obviously, when we was raising our daughter, we broke up when she was 1. So we had our growing pains, and I always attribute the angst that my daughter's father and I went through to age. We were kids ourselves. Let me tell you something about my baby daddy. He watches sometimes too. How you doing, baby daddy? My baby daddy was fine. He got his little, silver fox stuff going on now. He's trying to get himself together. Anyway, my baby daddy's fine. I'm talking about Big Daddy Kane fine. He looked like Big Daddy Kane, dark chocolate. And when I met him, he could dance. He had his Marine buddies that came with a routine. They did their little routine. He'd be flipping, doing backflips. So I was like, oh, he's fine. So I'm putting the emphasis on how fine he was back then because he knew it. He had no problem getting the women. And so he was young and he didn't have the ability. I don't know if he do now. I'm imagining he does. I don't want to get him in trouble. But he didn't have the ability as a young man to say, I'm taken. Get away from me. The power of Christ compels you. Stay away from me. He didn't have that ability. So that was our biggest problem. He liked to, get his chocolate self around. And I was like, no, I'm putting up with that. But now we're good friends. I love him.
His royal oats. Akeem, you go to America and it's your royal oats.
Not go to California. He's from North Kakalaka. So, he came to California. I should say went to California and lost his black ass mind.
Yes, because he saw all you could have that if you so desire, my brother. White, Asian, black, Mexican, you could have it.
I don't think he'll mind y'all telling me this, but the last straw that we did broke up was over a white girl. He, got with a white girl. He had to, I'll tell you, my baby daddy was wow. He made me late for work. I didn't know where he was. Now, mind you, wasn't no cell phones, no nothing. I didn't know where this man was. I was late to work. I had to call off because he was supposed to come home and get our daughter. Well, he shows up and he runs in the house real quick and he's trying to snatch a baby bag and all that stuff. I'm like, wait. First of all, where you been? You been gone all night. Where you been? Then he's trying to get her and run out the door. And I ran right behind his ass. And lo and behold, there was a white girl looked like Raggedy Ann. She had red hair, freckles. She just looked like an old dirty mop sitting outside waiting in the car. So, I'm like, 22, 23 at the time. So I had a lot of rah-rah. And I was like, oh, hell no. And I tell you, we live in an apartment complex. I raised the roof on everybody's apartment. I was out there and I tried to open the door. She locked it. She's scared. She turned to beet red. She's scared. She's like, oh my God. I'm like, how dare you? And blah, blah, blah. He's freaking out because he's like, oh my God. If she gets a hold of her, she's going to kill her. So needless to say, I snatched my daughter. I'm like, you're not taking my daughter nowhere with her. And they left. And from that point, that was it for us.
And that's when he got the child support system on you, like the good man he is.
That's another story for another day. But I love you, baby daddy. I love you.
Yes, yes. Me, I have 2 baby mamas, of course. That's the going rate. Both of them war babies. Of course, when you go overseas, a lot of military men come back and they make a lot of babies. As a matter of fact, Demetra's baby is a war baby as well. So that's what a lot of young military guys do, because you face the fact of death or whatever. Relationship with my youngest son's mom, and he's 25, is excellent and great. We were stationed in Alaska. My son was made in Alaska. Nothing else to do up there but watch movies, eat, and produce. She and I never had a problem. This is my second son now. So I learned from the horrific experience from my first son. So great relationship with my second baby mama. She's about 5 years older than me. But here's the thing about her. She was raised to be a wife. She's the youngest of four daughters. She's 20 years younger than her oldest sister. But even though she was older than me, she always listened to what I had to say from a man's perspective. Just basically respected my position as a man and doing what I got to do, blah, 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 right? And even to this day, she'll call me and she'll see something on the news or something political. And she'll say, oh, Donovan knows, he has a different perspective on it or knows what's going on with that. So on and so forth. Now, my first baby mama, horrific. My oldest son is 30 years old. So Demetra and I, again, her oldest, war babies, exactly, war babies, around the same time. Our kids are about the same age. My oldest son, we have an estranged relationship. My youngest son, we're not really estranged. It's just that I put him in his place. But my son is estranged for the typical reason that is not necessarily a stereotype, but a lot of men went through it, where the woman weaponized the son, the children against the father, took me through horrific child support issues and other things like that. But here's the difference between myself and maybe some other guys. After going through that horrific experience, okay, I'm the type of person, I will not let my children be weaponized against me. So if you're going to put a gun to my child's head to try to make me do what you want me to do, I would rather you go ahead and delete him right then and there, because I'm not having it. I'm not going to go through it, whatever. And when that woman realized that that was my mentality and she was going to get her way with me, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. You can have the child, do what you got to do, so on, so forth. And in the time that she raised that child by herself with her family around her, she told that kid horrific lies that when he was a grown young man about to graduate high school, I came to visit with him. And he was telling me stuff that I didn't even know I took part in. I was like, what? Say what? Who told you that? Who told you this? And here's the thing. And I'm not saying all women do this, but Demetra, you know what I'm talking about, and you know my story. Women will lie to the child just to save face, especially if they were out there pocketing it out there and doing whatever else they were doing, okay? Now, I'm not saying I was any better or whatever, but the point of the matter is, ladies, you cannot make a man be a father. And if he does want to be a father, do not weaponize the child against him. I am so angry at this woman and her family for what they did to me. Okay, I'm a young man. Okay, it's my first child. I don't know what's going on or whatever, whatever. And I know what's going on, but I gave the man, I'm going through the steps. DNA wasn't as prevalent as it is then. It was just coming into online back then. To take me through what she did was so unnecessary. To have her way, and she had the tenets of feminism. And this is another problem with feminism. It tells you, ladies, that no matter what you do, you will not be held accountable. And that is part of the child support system. That's a problem, in my opinion, because I wasn't that bad of a guy. I was a reasonable person. But when you interject your parents into what we are doing, there's a problem, because you're dealing with a real man right here. And I will be damned if your father's going to come and summon me. I went to his house, didn't have to, out of respect, to see what this man wanted answered his questions, and I dealt with him accordingly. I am so upset that and this is true, this is how I really feel, because I've been going to my therapist here in the DR. And we talk about this all the time, because the worst thing that you could ever do against somebody is to take their children away from them. Ladies, you're not the only parent. That is my child. That is our child together. And what was done to me was unfair. It was unreasonable. You're going to take my money and weaponize my child against me. So my feelings is, if I ever ran across this person, I really don't know what I would do. I really don't know what I would do. The only person in her family that I give grace to is her sister. And it's not that her sister did anything to make the situation better. She had nothing to do with it. So I give her grace, and me and her are friends on Facebook to this very day. But the point is, if I ever saw that woman cross my path, I don't know what I would do.
And I know I give Donovan a hard time, and y'all see me sometimes give Donovan a hard time. He deserves it, don't get me wrong. But I do know that Donovan was dealt a jacked up hand, with his oldest child. And as he says, mom ran him back and forth to child support court when she knew he was deployed. And Donovan has done 16 tours of duty. That's, almost unheard of. You know what I mean? So he's done 16 tours. So a lot of times he couldn't be like, okay, you know what? I know I'm delivering supplies because, he's a pilot. I got to go, back to California and deal. He couldn't do that. So, of course, she would win by default a lot. And Donovan ended up paying $1,600 for one child by the time it was done. And then once the child turned 18, she took him back to court, wanting the judge to make him pay for college. Now, Donovan, with his benefits being in the military, the child could have went to school for free. But Donovan was like, you made me do a lot, of things I didn't want to do because you're, bent out of shape for whatever reason. And the other thing is, you have poisoned my child. And I understand why Donovan's mad. You poisoned my child. If he wants to go to college, it won't come because you asked me. It needs because he needs to ask me, and he needs to come and have a relationship with me. But unfortunately, she's done such a number on the child, and he's not a child anymore. He's 30 now or so, to where he just doesn't know what to do. So that is wrong. It is wrong to do that, to a child, because let's keep it real, not to tell Donovan's business. They weren't even together. It was kind of, we met and it happened, but like Donovan said, I held up to my responsibilities. I wasn't running away from it, but the mom painted a story that wasn't the case. She told the parents they was together, and, the daddy tried to do a shotgun thing. He's like, wait a minute. She's not telling you the whole story. This was like, I guess in utopia, in a different situation, yeah, we might just try to make it work, but that wasn't the case. And so it was a concerted effort on behalf of the woman and her parents to do a number on the child. And, Donovan is traumatized because of it, because like you said, I got a whole human being out there as a son that y'all don't even live that far. And, I don't, and Donovan doesn't know, really a whole lot about him. And so Donovan as a father has been traumatized. The son has been traumatized because then he had to have his whole understanding of his father rearranged, because as he said, he's been told things about his father that wasn't true, including that your dad left us and didn't pay no child support. Donovan had to ask to meet him at the mall with all the proof of the child support that he's paid every dime on time. Mom never wanted for anything, including the fact that I ended up paying $1,600 a month. Now, mind you, that's a lot of money for that, back then for one child.
That was in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s.
And also what Donovan doesn't tell y'all is during that time, Donovan ended in the military as a major. That's a pretty high, place to rank to be. But Donovan worked, had second and third jobs so he could take care of himself. He didn't always eat the stuff he wanted to eat because he had obligations plus the, big giant price tag to pay for child support. So he wasn't one of those dudes that was just, I'm not going to do nothing. He had to do other stuff. So I can see why he's bitter, but I will say this. I'm glad that Donovan is, seeking therapy because it's traumatic. Like you said, a lot of times moms, and I'm telling you, I'm speaking from experience as far as I have a nephew who went through that, and thank God he ended up on the better end of things. who, was in a fight to keep his child. The mom lied on him, said he was physically abusive to her and all kind of stuff. She was trying to remove custody of his daughter altogether. But the court said, no, he's going to get 50-50 everything. So, he's got just as much rights to you, but we all helped him fight for that. But the point that I'm making is the child belongs to the father too. It's not just because you got titties and tears and you went to court and you a woman that you should, just have all these rights to the child and negate the father. That's not how it works. The father has feelings too. So Donovan, I'm glad that you're getting therapy. And when you come back to the States, you stay in the therapy, because I don't want you to run into that lady. And then God forbid, because I'm telling you, sometimes me and Donovan be out and I'm like, ooh, I hope he don't see this lady. Because I don't want to have to, play referee.
Wait. And it's just not her. The father, the mother, all of them, all but the sister, I will give grace. Everyone that was associated in that family, I have so much, because not one of them said, you know what, this ain't right. This is not, I'm not saying I'm an angel. However, I did my responsibilities and whatever. Fellas, if you got to walk away to keep your peace of mind or not to end up in jail, you do that, because that's what I had to do. But see, everybody keeps forgetting. My problem is not the fact that, me and the child were estranged. My problem is the fact that she brainwashed him with lies against me. And the brainwashing is so thorough that as a grown man, from what I've been hearing from people that kind of know us and stuff and that keep in contact with him, he's a little bit estranged from his mother too.
Of course he is, because he found out that she, filled his head with lies and destroyed his relationship with his father. Donovan, I got my issues with you, but Donovan is an accomplished individual, and I believe that you could have taught your son, just even one fraction of the stuff that he would have been a better man for it, So that I will say, unfortunately, the young man was robbed of a father.
Yeah, and if you look at my youngest son, even though they're both educated and stuff, my youngest son used my military benefits, went to school, left debt-free, doing really well, whatever. I'm not saying I'm a great parent, but because I learned from the first experience, fellas, learn from that first experience. We'll give you a pass. But when you keep making these babies and not wanting to pay child support and not supporting these children, that's on you. That is on you. I learned from, Demetra, how could anybody would want to go through the child support system after one time of doing it?
That's what I want to know. That's why I say I don't feel sorry for a lot of these men. I know women too, but I don't feel sorry for men talking about, I don't get nothing on my check because they didn't, I got 15 baby mamas splitting the check. It's like, well, you split your dang lane 15 times too. So, you know what I mean? But anyway, y'all, so like I said, it's a cold world out there. It's a cold world. And I'm just trying to stay warm my damn self. You know what I mean? Anyway, we love and appreciate y'all. We know we went over time today, but I hope it was enjoyable. Y'all got to, learn something out of this. For those of y'all who celebrate the Valentine's Day, get some for us. And get it for us.
I am going to have a nice steak at Bailey's restaurant. And I will have a Presidente for you in your honor and Deanna's honor as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So anyway, we love and appreciate y'all. Of course, we have ways to donate to the channel if you see fit. Like the video, subscribe, think about becoming a member. All of that will be back live with Walter, Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. I don't know what we'll talk about, but it'll be fun. Of course, we bring people on live. So I cannot wait to see your beautiful face and hear your lovely voice. Until then, it's 5 o'clock Central Time tomorrow. PM. Till then, you all be blessed. We love you dearly. Enjoy your day. Peace.